delay. So first we recite open prayer book is page number 5. There is the immeasurable, four immeasurables. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. La song yon ten jam zung a la wang, ten zhe don jen zhe pe ge le zor, dor jen chan jen de lo na ro dang, mar ba ma la chu jie gam bo ba. Pa mo zhe wa jiu wang zhe gong ba, ga ju la ma nang jie da chong xie, da nan de ne se ra dam jie de, la ma la ba la ye ju su wan jiu hong ga ba me ba jie, me ba jie ba me ba da me ba. Hong me ban zhuo me ba ta de de me dong jie me zhu ba nye xie zhe den ba zo ba san jie ma nan jie. Dang ba de la xiang zar du zhen jie zi wu la ma jie jie gu zong du jie xin lang da 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 ge jie lan be de. Da ge din ba dang sun jie jie dong la po jian zhe bar xin jie la du zo. Okay. Dear Dharma friends, today I'm going to teach four dharmas of Gampopa. Gampopa is the Kajupa master in 12th century, Milarepa's disciple, and Gampopa is a great master of Kajupa because Gampopa brought two great teachings combined together, which is the profound teaching of Mahamudra and the profound teaching of Kadamba tradition. So these two great rivers combined together. So for that reasons, today we have a golden opportunity to practice his teachings. So the definition of Dharma is that which corrects our mind. So what is our mind? What is the mind? Mind is a common name of consciousness and wisdom. So consciousness means thoughts. Later I will explain about thoughts. But what is the wisdom? So wisdom means in Tibetan yeshi. So ye means utterly, shi means understand, utterly understand. So then, for instance, if we understand the essence of sound, for example, if we understand the essence of harsh words, then harsh words cannot disturb our mind because we understand the essence of harsh words. So consciousness means we don't know the essence of our essence of phenomena, but wisdom knows the essence of phenomena. So that's where the the mind is common name of wisdom and consciousness. Mm. When we follow thoughts, at that time we are in the samsara. When we follow wisdom, at that moment we are in nirvana. So that's briefly how should we understand about the mind. And then uh, dharma is the key to unlocking your happiness, whether you are in deep sorrow or great happiness, because dharma uh, uh, when we practice dharma at that time uh, we feel we are not suffering. For example, the Tommy Zambo, Jesse Tommy Zambo, the writer of 37 Way of Bodhisattva, he said that if I'm sick, I'm happy because it purifies my negative karmas. Uh, if I'm not sick, I'm happy because I can practice Dharma well. So that's where whether sick one gets sick or not, either way, always can be happy through practicing of Dharma. So that's why the Dharma is the special key to opening our great happiness. So this is a very important to know. Mm. And then also Dharma is the field of merit. So field of merit or ground of merit. Uh, this morning, His Eminence Garcia Rinpoche gave us special path instructions about the merit. So merit is extremely important. Whether we have a precious human life or not, this is related to our merit. Mm. So then the precious human life means actually uh, uh, the that in our mind has a bodhicitta and compassion. At that moment, we have a precious human life because bodhicitta, we arise bodhicitta and we arise compassion in our mind. Sometimes we arise, but they are not staying, not remaining there longer. So precious means a very how to say mm, rare to find. It's a very difficult to find. Without merit, we cannot find precious human life. But also, we are beings in this Mother Earth. This is because of the our merits. So that's where we are always should think and should say, "Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, elements of wind." Because without Mother Earth, we cannot walk, we cannot sit. So then, without wind, we cannot breathe in and out. So, likewise, without fire elements, we cannot keep warm. Mm. Without water elements, then we cannot have blood. So that's where then these outer element we always should think uh, uh, like thank you outer elements. So when we think that thank you outer elements, that means we understand the power of our merits, and at the same time we promote our merits. So when we have merit, then we accomplish our goals and our wishes successfully. So merit is uh, extremely important, especially uh, uh, sometimes we have a strong faith in Dharma or in three jewels. So at that moment, our the marriage works. Our marriage work with our life. Sometimes we have wrong views. Oh, what is the meaning of karma, cause, and effect? Seems there is no karma, cause, and effect. Seems there is no next life. So at that moment, oh, we cultivate negative karma. So at that moment, we reduce our merit. So that's where, if frequently we have a precious human life, means we have a golden opportunity to cultivate great merit. Everybody has different skills. Everybody, even in this room in the temple, everybody has different skills and different the qualities. So you utilize your quality, you utilize your skills for welfare mother sentient beings. So if you utilize that for benefiting others, then you what to say your merits will increase. So then, if your merits increase, then your wisdom increase. When your wisdom increase, then you start to understand the natural state of mind. So that's where the karma is our discipline or rule and regulations, and the dharma is the path, and compassion and bodhicittas are our legs, and then wisdom is our eyes. So what should we see? Where should we go? Uh, we should go to the stage of Dharmakaya. So where is Dharmakaya? As Milarepa said, don't search Dharmakaya outside of your mind. And also Milarepa said, don't ask me where is Buddha, but look at your mind. So that's where we will reach. We will be able to reach on the stage of Dharmakaya through practicing loving kindness, compassion, and then we the cultivate merits. So this is our responsibility, and also Dharma. It's another important thing is Dharma release beings from the prison of suffering. Mm. So we have sometimes we feel that, oh, I'm okay, I have everything, and I'm not suffering. So we thought Dharma is okay. Sometimes we feel like that, but in the reality, everything is change. So we have something today, tomorrow, it will possible to change. So that's where we can cultivate marriage through our body, speech, and mind. And of course, we cultivate marriage through our uh, wealth and so forth. So then we cultivate merit is very important. Then there are two kinds of merits. The one is we can cultivate first merit, which is we call the merits of accumulation. So that we can cultivate through our body, speech, and mind. So we always should be good people. We try to be good people because in this world, uh, since we become Dharma practitioner, we always think that we are Sangha. Sangha means a helper. We should help other people. we should help to other people, which start from our family, friends, neighbors, and step by step we should help other beings. So uh, uh, this morning Rinpoche also told us three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and three roots, Guru, Yidam, and Ragini, and then three Buddhas, Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. They all in our mind. They all in our mind. So that's where if we do not try to help others, then no one try. At that moment, you are bodhisattva, because at that moment you have a bodhicitta in your mind. So if we try to help other beings, we can. We can. If we also if we try to destroy other beings, we can. That's where here we are coming in this world. We came in this world for benefit of other beings. So that's why this is extremely the helping others is very important. And then so the what are the four dharmas of Gampopa? So first is grant your blessings so that my mind may enter the dharma. So that means we our mind, as I said, we have two parts of maybe this is pretty new to hear that we have two kinds of mind: consciousness, two sides, two faces or two sides, consciousness and wisdom. So if we follow our thoughts, follow our consciousness, then we have a strong grasping, self-grasping. Then always we feel that I is very important. When we feel that I am very important, so I need good things, I need wonderful things. If we have this perception, then we have lots of sorrow. We have lots of facing problems. Because I is the ground of the problems. If suddenly we hear about this kind of this information is unacceptable. Till now we eat, we work, we take care of everything through self-grasping. So we think, oh, if we have through self-grasping, we accomplish all good things. That's we generally feel like that. But in the reality, the self-grasping is a cause of a problem, cause of suffering. For example, I bring one example. Oh, this is so when Milarepa had self-grasping, he had lots of suffering. He was suffering, but those problems are not how to say his problem, his family's problem. His family's problem creates him lots of sorrow. So that's where Milarepa Milarepa had enemies, and Milarepa fought, and Milarepa cultivated lots of negative karmas. So that's where even he should run away, otherwise he cannot protect his life. So at Dharma, why should Milarepa run away? Why Milarepa tried to run away? Because at that moment he had grasping. For that reason, he had enemies. But after few decades, few years later, Milarepa was alone. in the mountain, in a cave, in the mountainside. Mm. So sometimes some ghost came to him, and he tried to run away, but then suddenly his mindfulness knocked the mind door of the wisdom mind. Oh, there is no ghost. It is your, how to say, the delusion. It's your thoughts. And then Milarepa understood, oh, there is no ghost. Even some ghosts became his great teachers. So that's where then he joyfully, he's sing many songs. So he said, oh, I'm very comfortable on a small cushion. Actually, he was in the mountain side. He has no more clothes, no more food, but he joyfully sang us songs. That's where right now we had 100,000 of Milarepa songs. So that's where when he purified self-grasping, after he purified self-grasping, he freed from suffering. He had freed from suffering. So when he has self-grasping, at that time he had a lot of facing problems. So that is, right now I'm talking about Milarepa. This is not so far from us, from now. It was in 12th century. So it really happened. That's where when we start to practice Dharma, we start to criticize self-grasping. So criticize self-grasping means in the reality, we don't want to criticize self-grasping, but first we should, before we understand selflessness, we are going to understand the some faults of self-grasping. So even in the one family has a few siblings, so they also has different levels of problems because it's related grasping. But when I say that, please don't misunderstand. Oh, some don't pound other side. I mean, oh, they have strong self-grasping, so they have lots of problems. We don't perceive like that. But the Dharma practice means even you are listening Dharma, even I'm teaching Dharma, always focus in our mind. So when we practice Dharma, we don't want to focus outside. Or he says something about someone's life story, or it's talking about something. We don't think. Even we say, oh, Dharmakaya, Sambhokaya, Nirmanakaya, Swabhavika. At that time also, you don't think, oh, he talks about the three kayas. They are some pure lines. Don't think that. So when for example, I talk about the three kayas, you should know that I'm talking about to you. I'm talking about to you. So your mind is Dharmakaya, your mind is Sambhogakaya, your mind is Nirmanakaya. When you have good motivation, when you have loving kindness, even you are walking on the road, there is a small bug, and you try to save this bug. You try to protect this. Or somebody asks you in the airport, frequently I say that, in the airport, if they ask to you, where is the Terminal 4 or Terminal 2 or something like that, you kindly, if you have time, you help. Or someone learn this new language, if they ask how to read, how to say, you kindly answer or teach. So that means you are the Nirmanakaya. You are the Nirmanakaya. And then you arise compassion and bodhicitta from your mind. So that when you arise bodhicitta, at that moment, your mind is bodhicitta. There is no different minds. When you arise bodhicitta, your mind is bodhicitta. At that time, you are bodhisattva. So, bodhicitta and nirvana sambhogakaya are no different. It's this morning Rinpoche taught us, yeah? So that's where right now we see yadams in the tanka or pictures. In reality, they are in our mind. The reason is I told you that we are so great for elements. So wind elements, the outer wind elements helps us to breathe in and out. But inner wind elements, the essence of wind elements is a rainbow. It's luminosity. Very colorful, very beautiful. So that's where from luminosity of our mind, the sambhogakayas radiate from our luminosity mind. So subtle elements of wind and mind are inseparable. Subtle elements of wind we call wisdom wind, and our minds are inseparable. So these yadams appear from luminosity. So this luminosity is in our mind. But they are already there, but we are going to purify some these obscurations. Like in the space, there is a gorgeous sun and moon and a bit for stars, but the clouds covered, then we cannot see them. So after these clouds goes away, then went away, then we can see the beautiful stars. Likewise, the luminosity is in our mind, but temporarily the obscurations covered it. So that's where right now we sit on in the weather is pretty hot, whether is the weather hot or cold. We stay, we meditate, chanting, practice. The reason is we try to purify the temporary obscurations. So that's but the natural state of mind is dharmakaya. We don't want to increase it because it never decreased. So it says in the 37, the first verse of 37 way of Bodhisattva, neither come nor go. Neither come nor go means our natural state of mind is neither come nor go. Neither come nor go. Because it is birthless. It is deathless. So right now we have ordinary thoughts, ordinary perception. So that's where we are not birthless. We birth. And our thoughts also arise. When our thoughts arises, we have hope. We have doubt. So that's why then we have attachment and we have aversion. So right now we have fear. We afraid of something. So if we don't try to purify this fear right now, during the bardo, in the bardo stage, this is very, very dangerous. This fear become multiple. So that's where we say we have a precious human life. It means right now if we try to fix our mind or correct our mind, we can. If we try to purify our illusory or this deluded thoughts, we can do. That's why we have a precious human life. So often I say that the precious human life, but still impermanent. Or if we are soccers, we have the soccers. They have only 45 minutes to play ball. They trained for many, almost half years, and eat very good, healthy food. And the sponsors spend lots of money for that, for them. and then they come to the basket ground or some football ground, and they have only 45 minutes. If that moment they skillfully play, they play skillfully, and they focus, they do good job, and then result is good. That in the 45 minutes they be lazy, or they don't try to keep diligence, don't try to apply their skills, and then after 45 minutes they regret it, just to feel regret. It's too late. Likewise, right now we have a precious human life. This life is perhaps we think, oh, it's very easy to find. This life is very easy to find. Generally, to find precious human life is very difficult. The reason is from here to the center of our foot, there are different seeds of the realms: God's realm, demigod's realm, human realm, animal realm, hunger god's realm, hell realm. They are ready to blossom. These seeds are ready to blossom. So they have lots of fatals. They have lots of supports. For example, if the seed of God's realm, their helper is self-pride. Self-pride. Oh, I am super. I am great. At that time, then it support the seed of here, the seed of God's. So after then this, after blossom this seed, and then reborn in the God's realm. Actually, God's realm is not so bad. It's a good realm, but eventually, because this is not completely liberate, liberating or liberate. So that's where eventually it's this reborn in the lower realm. And then demigod's realm, jealousy. Jealousy, we don't want to make efforts to arise jealousy. Yeah, it's some we see some good things about our friends or something, and then we just our jealousy arises almost naturally. So at that time, that jealousy support to the seed of demigods. So if we rebirth in the demigod's realm, 24/7 fight. So there is a say, the jealousy people has no happiness. So that means always the sorrow. Their mind is always sorrow, unhappy. So that's where, and then the next the human. I will talk a little bit about human realm after the animal realm. So animal realm, also we have seed of animal realm, and the cause of that or support of this seed is ignorance. Mm. And then the hunger goes realm. There's the greed. If we greed something, even we greed over virtues, over merits, this result is also not perfect. So that's where after we practice, after we meditate, then we dedicate. For reason is dedication means in there is a special words in Tibetan is pinyu. Pinyu means benefit others. Yu means receive some another benefit. The benefit they receive, how to say, the another benefit back to us. So that's where dedication is extremely important. The reason is we are not greed about our merits. And then another thing is angry emotion. I don't mean angry people are not good people. So that don't please don't misunderstand. But generally angry emotion is a very strong emotion, and then angry emotion is like a fireball. If the fireball, you try to hold this in your hands, it burns your hands. And if you put this fireball in other people's hand, it burns other people's hand. So that's where um, angry emotion is the cause of the hell realm. So that's we are going to purify those emotions. And then usually we think, oh, attachment is good things. Seems sometimes it's a good things because uh, mm, it works good things. For example, the relationship of family and so forth. Yeah, but we are Dharma practitioners, so that's what is our goal? What is our wish? Our wish is we are going to liberate from samsara. So attachment is like a oil which pull on a dish paper. So if we try to separate that oil and the pepper are not easy. So that's where grant your blessing so that my mind may enter the Dharma. How should we enter? How should our mind enter in the Dharma? Is we are going to think about the uh, impermanence and the precious human life. So that thinking about the precious human life means we don't waste our life, and also keep happiness. Psychologically, some the practice for thoughts, uh, especially with the precious human life. Psychologically, it greatly benefit because in the because of a degenerated time, many people, whether young people or old, doesn't matter. Many people has many facing problems. So for that reasons, they try to run away or release or run away from uh, those problems, and then they decided to kill themselves. So that's so this is actually they are the object of compassion, but generally seems like a children's play because their wisdom does not blossom. So they always think, oh, now currently I have lots of problem, so there is no way to solve these problems. For that reason, they try to run away from this suffering, but they don't know how about uh, the situation of the bardo and the next life, in the lower realms. So that's where I don't mean they're directly reborn in the lower realms. It depends with their karma, but the thing is uh, best thing is think more about precious human life. Sometimes we have no food, no water, no friends, and no helpers. It's a possible happen in our life. Life is up and down, but still we have a Buddha nature. We have a Buddha nature, so we should practice Dharma and remember the benefit of Dharma. As I mentioned, a few words. So if you think it's helpful, please you apply that. So if we don't know the benefit of Dharma, and then we think I'm going to we just like to practice Dharma, but when sometimes are everything is pretty okay, we are not engaged so much problems, and at that time we start to forget Dharma. And sometimes we have lots of problems, and we don't know how to apply Dharma wisdom, And then we misunderstand, oh, Dharma doesn't benefit. Mm. For example, oh, Tara protects us from 24 fears, great fears. Okay? So one is earthquake. Mm. So then we always recite Tara, but sometimes earthquake occurs, earthquake. And then we suddenly think, oh, we are or somebody practice Tara, but still the occurred earthquake. So Tara doesn't protect. Since Tara, there is no Tara. So this it's possible we have like this view. We will have this view. So Tara protects us from 24 great fears. Means whether there is happened earthquake or the nature disaster, other nature disasters, but in the mind, not so much sorrow, not so much fear. When they fear, suddenly they look at their mind. So that's when Milarepa, he was stay in the cave, and then the ghost came to him. He scared. First time he scared that. He tried to run away, but then he started to look at his mind, and he supplicated his guru Marpa. That's where then he saw Marpa. So then these ghosts become his teachers. Means that the ghosts become his helper. So that's where the Tara purifies our fear, anxiety, suffering. Also angry emotion. When we are angry to someone strongly, immediately we react and say harsh word. That means we create karma. So karma is also not outside of our actions. So karma and merits quite similar. Merits, when you are angry, at that time you start to look at the angry emotion, you cultivate merits. When you are angry and you start to act, the action like using harsh word, you cultivate negative karma. So that's where the merits means power of the virtues. And then after that we are going to understand very subtle karma cause and effect. Gross karma cause and effect, pretty easy. Oh, last year somebody plants this tree, this year it grows. That we know, yeah. But the subtle karma cause and effect means we think something. Even we are in the meditation, and we meditate, close our eyes, keep 7 meditation postures, but then we think. Our mind create different karmas. For example, we arise malicious thought, and then other afflictive emotions. So that's where if we understand subtle karma cause and effect, then we understand interdependence. So now you focus at your head. Usually we say, there is my head. And I'm a headache. I'm not a headache. Yeah? At that time, we don't focus subtle interdependence. If we focus in subtle interdependence, then where is the head? The ears, nose, eyes, and forehead, here. So jaws, if we separate each and everything, is there still head or not? There is no head. So that means if we realize subtle interdependence, we will realize emptiness. We just think emptiness, but then some problems occur. They directly affect in our mind or our life. That means we cannot free we cannot free from those problems. But if we focus about the subtle interdependence, when something occurs, for example, I'm always sick. I take many medicines, but still it cannot recover. Sometimes we have like that experience. At that time, where is I? Is my body? Is my skin? Is my consciousness? So step by step, we reflect from the crown to the feet. There is no I. So Nagarjuna is the master of Mahayana tradition. So Nagarjuna taught Madhyamaka teaching through this idea. So Nagarjuna said, there is no self. And some says, there is self. So that's where then Nagarjuna says, there is no self. Everything is selflessness. Everything is selflessness. So if we realize the selflessness, if we recognize selflessness, and then we don't want to change this body, and we don't want to expect some other pure lines. Whenever we recognize selflessness, at that time we are on the stage of bliss. We are on the stage of happiness. So that's why the subtle interdependence and emptiness. The realization of a subtle interdependence is the key to realize the emptiness. And then emptiness has different layers. First, we realize that emptiness of these outer things, like a house and body and so forth, and head or hands or so forth. But still, we have a fixation. When we have a fixation in our mind, we do not realize the complete. We do not gain the realization of Mahamudara. So that's where, if we are going to gain the realization of Mahamudara, we are going to purify the fixation. Fixation means, oh, this is good. Oh, I experience like that. That is good. Or I experience like this. This is not good. So that the fixation means like that. Fixation is a subtle perception. We perceive, oh, this is like this. That we call perceive. So subtle perceptions we call fixation. So we should free from the fixation. When we free from fixation, at that moment our mind is become like an empty space. So in this empty space, there are many enemies of elements being together. Fire elements and water elements, they are enemies, but they are equally remain in the space, because this is the quality of empty space. Likewise, if we realize we purify the fixation, and we realize the realization of the Mahamudara, at that time attachment and aversion, they all dissolve into the the empty space of mind. Mm. So, and then next also we should understand that uh, the uh, the defect of samsara. So till now we think, oh, samsara. Usually we say samsara, but samsara is not bad. Mm. Uh, which means we did not experience nirvana. If we experienced nirvana, then we can feel samsara is the ocean of suffering. But what should we think is samsara? Uh, when should we practice defect of samsara or renunciation? Sometimes when you have depression, at that time you don't practice the renunciation, the renunciation or defect of samsara. If you have some problems, you have many challenges, and then you think, oh, samsara is not good or something like that. That is, I mean, in those days, not so helpful, because I met different Dharma friends, and they asked me different questions. So sometimes I shared about the defect of samsara. They already experienced sufferings. At the same time, I shared the defect of samsara. It doesn't help directly. But when you have the feeling that, oh, samsara is good, I don't want to focus about nirvana, and I don't want to become enlightened. At that time, you should think about the defect of samsara or renunciation of samsara. Because if you feel samsara is a good place, good circumstance, then you cannot apply diligence. If you do not apply diligence, then you cannot practice 6 perfections of parimitas. Because diligence is the pillar of 6 perfections, 5 perfections. So diligence is very important. So that's where you need enthusiasm in the nirvana. And for that reasons, sometimes we see good things in samsara and we like them, and then we always busy with the samsaric activities. We cannot spend over time for practicing dharma. So that's why. But I don't mean you are going to stop to work. Work is important, but always work with loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta. So this is a very important. Sorry, sometimes I treat through the live stream. I always focus the camera, so that's why I didn't forget that how to say, focus towards you. So sorry for that. Mm. Uh, Perhaps it's good you can take a nap, yeah, because later weather is pretty hot. So, and then next is thinking on the illusory thoughts of sentient beings. So that means the our mind is how to say deluded. The reason is we actually in the night when we are sleeping, at that time we have a dream. So this is a good example of illusion. But in the daytime we think, oh, we are not we are right, what I see is correct, red thing, what I hear is red thing. So we cannot feel that these things are, the sounds are like an echo, and whatever we see are like a mirage or something like that. but the benefit is that if you see heard the all sounds are the echo, then you hear some sweet words, you will not attach it. Oh, this sound is like echo. And when you hear some harsh words, suddenly you will not become, you will not, how to say, engage angry emotion. So you can feel, oh, this is like a echo. Uh, and then same like forms. Oh, this is a beautiful form and attached. Oh, this is not good. And aversion. You can release all of these perceptions. And then the main thing is, why do we have illusory thought, illusory mind, thought or mind? Because we have imprint. Since beginnerless time, we cultivated many kind of the uh, we engaged illusory thoughts. So for that reasons, now how many times we try to purify the illusory thoughts, still it continually arises in our mind. So for that because that is the over mm, imprint. So imprint of illusion is related ignorance. Ignorance is like the blind person. If there is a blind person without a helper, and then that person don't know what is the right way and what is the wrong way. So that's where it's possible. It's steps in very dangerous, how to say, place. So likewise, we since we have ignorance, we don't know what is right and what is wrong. So for that reasons, we are going to purify ignorance. And then antidote of ignorance. What is the antidote of ignorance? This is wisdom. We always should apply wisdom. So there are many ways to practice wisdom. For example, you don't like angry emotion, but someone creates you, or someone makes you angry. How to say? Let your angry emotion arise. So that's where Shanti Deva said that when someone use harsh word to you, at that time you should be as a wood, just piece of a wood. And if you being as just piece of wood, that means if that wood we kick out that wood or we step on this wood, it doesn't react. Likewise, whatever they say, just let them say, but we don't being as a very strong target. We always being as empty space. So that's where the realization of the Mahamudara means we should become like empty space. So how many arrows of suffering shoot the arrows of suffering or harsh words, negative words, or other kind of disease or whatever occurs, we always being as empty space. That's where we are not target of these obstacles. So that's how we should practice with wisdom and be patient. Yeah. And then also jealousy. The antidote of jealousy is rejoice. Rejoice. When you say and you feel rejoice, if other people has a good thing, everybody has good things, good skills, nice things. So we don't focus about negative part, and we try to focus the good part, and then at that time we rejoice. So best thing to bring, how to say, uh, best thing to steal others good things is rejoice. Actually, steal is not good. Stealing is not good things. But for example, if someone has a good thing and you rejoice that, that means if some has a good heart, for example, if you rejoice that, you don't want to wear it, you don't want to buy this hat, but it's same like you have that heart or head. So the rejoice is a very important. Rejoice with people's qualities. Rejoice with uh, everything. You can, if you uh, practice rejoice, then that is how the cultivate marriage through secret way. Mm. Nobody know you cultivate marriage, but you always rejoice towards others good things, and uh, so forth. Then your mind is happy. You don't want to particularly create happiness, happy mind. When you rejoice towards others good things, and you are always uh, happy. And then next is also you are going to apply this mindfulness. So mindfulness is the uh, head of the meditation. So Lord Jigten Sungku said that if you are skilled mindfulness, you are skilled of meditation. So you always apply mindfulness. Mindfulness is you know that Rinpoche's life story. So his father taught him, when you ride a horse uh, from here to maybe this door said like this distance, there is one stone, and you focus, you apply mindfulness between there. So you can always apply mindfulness, whether you are work in the restaurant or in the shopping centers, anywhere you can apply mindfulness. So mindfulness is the head of meditation, and then if you have mindfulness, then your yidams always with you. If you lost mindfulness, and then your yidams are whether your yidams are with you or not, it's same. For example, you drive car, so you drive car through your mindfulness. That means how you know the cars coming, and you notice the traffic light, everything. So that means you are on the mindfulness. So in the 7 verses of Tara, it says, "Mother, mother of the mindful, Mother Tara of the mindfulness, please protect us." Something like that. So always you apply mindfulness. This is very important. Mindfulness means you focus, be alert, and then after you apply attentiveness. Attentiveness means like this: where is the enemies or some obstacles, so you be mindfulness, and some obstacles arises, and then mindfulness, and some obstacles arises, and then you try to avoid it. So attentiveness support to the mindfulness, and then mindfulness, if you apply attentiveness, then what is called this your mindfulness will become stable. So at that time, then your mind is become like a candle light, a flame. So without wind, the candle light doesn't move by wind. That means mindfulness. And then your attentiveness increases. It will become vipassana. So then it's like a candle's light. So candle light remove darkness. It's no matter there is some darkness since thousands of years, but if you turn light in this the turn light, this darkness immediately disappear. Likewise, if you apply attentiveness, then all obstacles goes away. So that apply mindfulness and attentiveness are also very important to and then next is the grant your blessings so that the path may clarify confusion. This is the 10 things to be emphasized. That also Gampopa taught. I will introduce you through this way. I think this is more helpful. So first, in the very beginning, practitioners should focus on the hearing and analysis of Dharma. So listening Dharma, there are three things for to do. Dharma practitioners to do three things: listening Dharma, and reflect, and meditate. This is the responsibility of all Dharma practitioners. So without listening, then we don't know well how to practice. Sometimes we think, oh, I know without listening, I know how to practice. Sometimes we feel like that. It's okay, but there are some sad texts. So that's where how many times you listen, there are many great benefits. There are great benefits. Number one is you listen the Dharma. The teacher or guru taught one subject again and again, and you utilize one words. But we listen again and again that teaching, our wisdom increases. And then we realize something. Guru already taught something. For example, Guru says, immeasurable of bodhicitta, loving kindness. The Guru taught us that. And then we hear that practice immeasurable of bodhicitta. And then slowly we gain the realization, oh, what is the meaning of, how should gain the immeasurable bodhicitta? And we later reflect on that after listening that. And then second, we understand, oh, immeasurable bodhicitta means we think, may all mother thinking beings have happiness. At that time, our mind become limitless. That's where immeasurable means that. Because we think all beings. We don't think one person. We don't think two people. So we think all beings have happiness. So that moment our mind is happy. Really, if you gently close your eyes and you feel all beings have a happy, at that moment, if you look at your mind right after, at that time you have a happy mind or unhappiness. At that time your mind is definitely happiness. Happiness means not something like, but you don't have suffering. And after then you think, may all mother beings have happiness and cause of happiness. So Guru always say, You should practice. May all bodhicitta, like all beings have happiness and cause of happiness, and then we reflect. What is the cause of happiness? Oh, selflessness. Cause of happiness is selflessness. Selflessness, emptiness, and non-duality, Mahamudara, Dzogpa. They are same. Kunduzambo, Vajradhara, Guru, nature state of mind, pristine awareness. There are profound words, vocabularies, but they all same meaning, and they all in our mind. They all in our mind. So that's why we don't reflect too much. If we always reflect, then we have no time to rest on the natural state of mind single-pointedly. So sometimes a little bit reflect, but the best thing is the listening is Dharma is very important. Listening Dharma is very important, and then also there is this the benefit of listening is no one can steal that. So that's where this is precious things. And then next it says when when practitioners have gained some experience, they should focus on meditation. After you listen and a little bit reflect and meditate, after you gain some experience, for sure everybody has different experience. If small experience, perhaps this is not so small. First, in the physically, first you sit like this, keep 7 point of the postures. First, your experience is your hurts, your shoulders, your back, your knees. You feel you lost your the focusing. You cannot meditation. So that's why you are going to listen, means that listening the teachings. So that is your experience. When you start to meditate, mindfulness, shamatha or vipassana, or mahamudara or dzogpa, so forth. But your body start to hurt, and then you'll focus on your knees or back or something like that. Okay, you keep forbearance. Forbearance means patience, yeah. And at that time, for example, I say, oh, today our object of meditation is breathe in and breathe out. If I say that, and you start to meditate and close your eyes, your body start to hurt everywhere. No matter, you don't follow me. It does not mean you against my teaching. Where should you focus? You scan your body. Oh, the hurts there, and you replace, fixed, adjust. Don't worry, it's gently, but be mindful. Apply mindfulness. That means if you move too very loudly, and then next person may be uncomfortable, yeah. But you little bit move your body or stand up, sit down, whatever you want. You do that 1 time, 2 time. Even I am not great meditator, but I have small confidence to share that. I sit like that the most of the time. First time I really hurts everywhere. That's why I'm talking about that. It's for lost all the attentions, but make efforts, just stayed, but then slowly it disappear. Not pain, lost my pain of knees and back and everywhere, and stay like that. And after what we experience is a bliss, happy, very comfortable. If stay like different ways, it's little uncomfortable. Stay through meditation posture is very uncomfortable, very comfortable. So the kind of this, when you gain the kind of this experience, or if you experience that meditate, sometimes you analyze by yourself. During the meditation, that period is good or during the non-meditation, that period is good. So if you have little enthusiasm or interesting to meditate, then you keep progress your meditation. So meditation is extremely important, especially this is related to Gampopa. When Gampopa's previous life, when he was with Shakyamuni Buddha, and Shakyamuni Buddha taught to all the Sanghas, oh, there is a profound teaching which is king of Samadhi. Samadhi means meditation. King of Samadhi Sutara. So I am going to give this teaching today. So who would like to keep this teaching? So Buddha asked to his the numbers of disciples, and everybody, oh, I can't do that. Even Shariputra or Mangalaputra, they are wonderful, these sanghas, yeah. But then one sangha stand up and prostrated to the Buddha, and he said, I will do it. Who was that person? Gampopa. You know. Oh, I don't want to teach. Let me go. Wow, that's where you have wonderful wisdom. So don't waste it. I thought this is a very new, fresh, special things. So I tried to say loudly, this is a Gampopa, but you already said, yeah. Perhaps you were there, yeah, at that time with the Gampopa. So, and then Rinpoche always said that he quoted from Sutta of Liberation. It's a great liberation. Tibetan say Tarpachim Bendo. So this in this says, if you protect the beings of three realms, three spheres or three realms, above the earth, on the earth, or underneath the earth, or you meditate on samadhi for short moment, the meditation is much greater than the protect others' lives. Protect others' lives is this benefit is inconceivable actually, but meditation has this kind of that benefit. Why? Because we meditate, we start, then we understand our natural state of mind. When we understand our natural state of mind, we understand Dharmakaya. When we understand Dharmakaya, we become Dharmakaya. So Dharmakaya, we cannot find usually. Oh, Vajradhara is hold the bell and a Vajra and like this. And Kundazambo is sit like that without clothes almost. That is for like a how to say this for make sense, for understand what is the Kundazambo, what is the Vajradhara. Kundazambo, Vajradhara are same. If they are outside of our mind, we say Kundazambo and Vajradhara are same. This is not true. Because the Kundazambo has different gestures. Vajradhara has another gestures. And they have different the mudaras. Still we say they are same. This is not true. Why are they same? No different, because they are our mind, and our mind is Vajradhara and Kundazambo. So that's where when you listen to Dharma, always you should think talking something about to you, talking about something to you. Right now, for example, we say practice bodhicitta and compassion, and you feel little close. Oh, it's talking about to me, because you have that experience. Likewise, about the path instructions about the Kundazambo and Vajradhara, always we should think Guru talks about us. So, but then next we have small responsibilities. Otherwise, I'm Vajradhara, then it's I'm Kundazambo. So sometimes if we misunderstand, then it's the mixed with self-pride. That's where our responsibility is. Oh, if I follow afflictive thoughts, afflictive emotions, this is unsuitable, unpropriety. Yeah, because I am, for example, I am Vajradhara, still I follow my negative thoughts is then little funny, yeah, little funny. So that's where no matter or Vajradhara, still you have 84,000 of thoughts because Buddha taught 84,000 scriptures. Actually, more than that, but we generally say 84,000. That means all. So the reason, I mean, you have many thoughts, but when you recognize that you are Kundazambo or Vajradhara, all of these thoughts dissolve into the Kundazambo or Vajradhara. Like all the ocean's waves dissolves into the ocean. If all the ocean's waves separate, go outside of the ocean, then the ocean becomes small and small. The ocean becomes lake, and then slowly it becomes dry. Yeah, no matter that the ocean's waves always moves, but still dissolve into the ocean. That's where ocean is always profound, like a boundless. Likewise, we have a natural state of mind. Many thoughts arise continually, no problem. They dissolve into the Dharmakaya mind. So then at that time they are good how to say supports. Some practitioners, ancient times, they stayed in the mountains for many years, meditate, and sometimes they should come to in the town, in city. They are going to learn how much they can liberate it. Yeah. So they are totally free from thoughts or not. It's a very some did that, so that's a very very helpful. And then especially guru has experience, so that's where guru can tell us clearly. So devotion is extremely important. Without devotion, guru is just a person. When you have devotion, guru is Vajradhara. So your devotion increases. First, the guru is Vajradhara or Kundazambo. At that moment, you have devotion. Then your devotion increases. Guru transform into your mind. So at that time, guru and your mind are inseparable, means not artificial, not just a saying, not just a lip service, not just words. Guru and your mind are inseparable, means first you really want devotion. If you have a devotion, you have a healthy mind. That's why I said Dharma benefits outer elements and inner sentient beings. Dharma followers, if you have devotion, you have happy mind, peaceful mind. Sometimes we say happy mind means always something, not like very peaceful mind. Very, very peaceful. So that's why then whatever you do, it can benefit your skills, your songs, the music, or all of your skills, reading skills, or even your actions, or even your smiles can benefit others. So that's where even your breath, when you have bodhicitta in the mind, you breathe out, this breath provide everywhere. It dissolves into the winds. For example, we make a milk tea. So there are lots of tea and water, but we pull this very small milk, then it becomes milk tea. Likewise, your breath becomes nectar of the air. So your breath becomes consecration of the air elements. So always think, arise bodhicitta for towards other beings. And always arise devotion towards your guru. When you have devotion in your mind, your channels, how many channels? 72,000 channels in Vajrayana. The reason I'm talking about Vajrayana and this Sutayana both, because Gampopa brought these two profound teachings together for us. That's where today we are going to discuss about this. So that's where when you arise devotion, your channels are happy, relax. And then at that time, your channels open the nodes. At that time, your wisdom wind travel through your channels. Then you can see yidams. Of course, if you see your guru as Vajradhara, yidams are always in front of us. You can see yidams. And then, as I told you, eventually you can see that your mind is Vajradhara. So then, at that time, you have no fear. You have no hope. So, exactly that happened to Milarepa. When Milarepa was in his village, he has, as I said, he has enemies and he has a family. So he has attachment and aversion both. So, but he made some mistakes. He engaged non-virtues. So that's where then he started to afraid of death. So then Milarepa tried to go some safety place. Doesn't matter, he went wherever, the fear remains in his mind. So that's where then he followed the Marpa, and then he went to the mountain. After he reached the mountain, he not just sleepy there, yeah, slept there. So he meditated. So the bottom of Milarepa, what kind of that? Has a wound. So Gampopa visited Milarepa and he received profound teachings. After then Milarepa said, okay, now it's the time to go back. And then he said goodbye. Milarepa said goodbye. And then Gampopa went a little far, and again Milarepa called to the Gampopa, come back. And then Gampopa thought, oh, still Milarepa should give me some special profound path instructions. So that's where then he running towards Milarepa. And then Milarepa just showed his bottom. And I said like this, until I had wounded my bottom, you should do that. Especially if you are going to benefit others, one time you will see me as Buddha. At that time, you are ready to benefit others. You are ready to give profound teachings. So that's where how devotion is how important, yeah. So that when we have devotion, also the Lord Jigten Sunggung, when he was with the Pamotrapa, he has very old clothes, and he always visualize each Pamotrapa on the head of each classmates or Dharma friends. So he always prostrated like this through his hand gesture. So he respected all. Something this is artificial. Some said that even, but he practiced like that way. He devoted to no, no, the Pamotrapa. Uh, Even, of course, he devoted Pamotrapa and he devoted all sanghas of Pamotrapa. That's where then Jigten Sungun received profound realizations. Usually we think, oh, yeah, I can say first that he received the profound realizations from Pamotrapa. And then suddenly you have wisdom, the question, oh, Buddha nature is inside. Then how can receive this profound realization from Pamottava? I think you have this question because you have great wisdom, great merit, but receive profound realization received Pamottava means Pamottava is whose mind? Lord Jigten Sungu's mind, yeah, at that time. So when we have devotion, then our guru is our mind. That's where then he gained this profound realization. So that the devotion is always helpful and very the even in the daily life. For example, if you arise this devotion morning to lunch for 3 hours, 9 to 12, at that time you don't want to particularly block your ordinary thoughts. They automatically block. And at that time you don't want to particularly arise happiness. Your mind is very happy, joy. It's like a mixed with the goosebumps. It's special experience, really. Okay. So then this next is perhaps I taught everything, or yeah. Then next is the grant your blessings so that confusion may be as wisdom. So we are going to dissolve into the wisdom. So right now we are going to make efforts. First, efforts and diligence is extremely important. Always, any kind of practice. For example, Malarepa, Gampopa, Telopa, Naropa, all these lineage gurus will read. Sometimes you read the life story of these great masters. It's really, really helpful. Really helpful. So then the main thing is we are going to dissolve all these ordinary thoughts are into the great wisdom. Wisdom, I told you, the literally wisdom means yeshi, ye means utterly, shi means recognize. Utterly recognize the nature state of mind. Nature state of mind. So, yeah, and then for gain this realization, compassion is very important. The definition of compassion is you focus towards the mother beings, and you think, may all beings free from suffering. May all. At that time, what should you do? You practice immeasurable. Free from suffering means compassion. So if you water a tree has many branches. If you don't want to you don't want water each and every branch, otherwise you can't do it, yeah. But if you water the root of a tree, that means you give water to all of these branches of tree. Likewise, you think all mother thinking beings. At that time, your mind is become like a boundless space. At that time, you are totally free, and then and may they free from suffering and cause of suffering. Cause of suffering, when you recite that at that moment, grasping. So how they free from grasping? They should understand selflessness. Selflessness. So through this way, if you pray, recite, meditate, even you are the karma yoga practice, all of these are transformed into merits. So they transformed into the merits, and in the future, you become enlightened. First, you became Bodhisattva, great Bodhisattva. So great Bodhisattva, Vajradhara, Avalokiteshvara, and Kshitigarbha, and so forth. They cultivated great merits. That's where right now all the lineages practice them. And also, Buddha greatly accomplished merits. For that reasons, Buddha radiate Sambhogakaya. And then from Sambhogakaya, what's the Nirmanakaya? The number, it's countless of Nirmanakayas. So that they all related merit. They all related to merit. So sometimes practicing Dharma is not easy because there are many things to do. But if we understand how to do, the many things become one thing. It becomes, which means very easy, very easy. Even you practice, you recite a single mantra, at that time you can practice emptiness, you can practice bodhicitta, you can follow the law of karma. So everything you can do when you recite mantra. So, for instance, you say Om Mani Padme Hum, so you can generate compassion. But how should you generate compassion? These mother sentient beings are not real sentient beings. They are, in reality, they are Buddha, but temporarily their nature state of mind are covered by thoughts. So right now they don't know that. They are in the stage of delusion. So that's where you give, you generate compassion and loving kindness. So then you recite mantra and you realize that, or remember the Dharmakaya, and also you focus mother sentient beings, and you also generate this compassion. So every practices you can practice one time, but there's still how many you know about the practice. For example, only mantra. Oh my Lord Buddha, there are lots. Om, what is the Om? Oh, Om is head of mantra. Oh, it doesn't know. Om is representative, auspicious. Oh no, Om is the Nirmanakaya, representative of Buddha's body, and then something like that. Oh, Om is the Buddha of the God's realm. So if you know everything, you can more benefit others. But then main thing is always practice. The Arya Deva, who is the Nagarjuna's disciple and Nalina master, he also said, even you recite refuge prayers and practice this generation compassion, generate compassion and bodhicitta. Always you apply this realization of emptiness and two kinds of types of loving kindness, which are compassion and bodhicitta. So I think we all can do. And then I think it's probably better to stop here. Now, otherwise, I talk too much and you get tired, but we will dedicate this. Everybody open the page 56, please. Hi. Emma ho ngon zar zanje nawan daye da yesu jo do je jembo da yonda zamban de je do na la zanje zan ba men gor je gor de jiang on zai ba de me ba ye de wa jin ji ja we shen gan de dai jian de ne zhen bu zhe ma dai jie wai yin jie ba ma ju ba re de re jie ne nan de jiang dun zhou de ge da ge ma la da ba ye jo ju san jie jiang zhen dan jie jie ge min zhe ba xin jie lao de so dai ya dai ban zan zai ya a wan bo de na ye zo wa. Page 28. Jiang zhu zhen zhu ren bo jie ma jie ba nan jie 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 ba nian ba me ba yang gong ne gong de be wa zhou. May Bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arising. Where it has arising, may it not decline, but every increase higher and higher. Thank you so much. May your Bodhicitta increase higher and higher, and may you greatly benefit all beings. Thank you. Thank you so much.